All right, folks. Yishai Fleischer here. You know, Arabs are often victims, not victims of Israel, but victims of the corrupt and jihadist organizations which run their world. Hamas is an organization which tortures its own people, which wants to see civilians die because that's their strategy. They get rich off the people, they get rich off the conflict, and the simple people suffer. And you don't hear that a lot, right? You don't hear that because they want to put it out there that there's just two combatants, Israel versus the Arabs, so-called Palestinians, and that's it. You got to pick a side. But the sad reality is that many of the Arabs on the other side in Gaza are victims. Some of them are definitely part of the Hamas ideology. Some of them voted for Hamas. Some of them want to see Israel destroyed. Some of them have been brainwashed and have been taught to hate Israel from their mother's milk. But there are many, it's hard to put a number on it, that are actually victims of jihadism. I want to show you two videos that came out in the last few days on Israeli news. The first one is part of a 45-minute video that was uncovered by the Israeli army in Gaza. And in it, what you basically are going to see, I have a 2-minute version of it, and I don't know if I'm going to show you all of that either. That is basically average Arabs living in Gaza being tortured by Hamas. This video has been now seen all over the internet, but it's important for you to see it and to understand how these people live. Here they are the average people are being tied up, and they're being questioned by Hamas operatives. Look how calm and normative it all is. Okay, they tie them up, they push them around, they beat them up, and it's all in the offices. Look at the date up there, 2018, 2019. It's basically, look at this guy. Look at this guy on the right side. That's the Hamas guy on the right side. He's just sitting there typing away. Here's the Hamas operative. He's dressed nicely. He looks like a calm guy, but he wants to make sure that the Arab, this is Arab on Arab violence, right? He wants to make sure that he's in pain, that he talks. And there's 45 minutes of this. And these folks, who knows what their fate was? Maybe they were shot and killed. We don't know. But I know, here it is. It's like commonplace torture, right? It's like a Hamas operative asking him, "Where'd you get the food? Did you make deals with Israel? Did you try to communicate with Israel? Did you spy for Israel?" And they're just torturing these people, and in a light kind of torturing, right? Horrific. And this is just the video that was found in one of the bases, one of the Hamas terror bases that were captured by Israeli armed forces in this latest round. So this is from 2019, but this is the kind of stuff that they do routinely. How do I know that they do it routinely? Because I have friends in the Arab world who have been tortured by the Palestinian Authority. Just like these guys are being tortured by Hamas. Look how calm their captors are. Look how normative it all is. He's whacking them, hurting them. And this was the 2-minute version that I was willing to show you of what happened. So I have a friend in Hebron. Basically, he was a small-time terrorist. He went to prison, Israeli prison, and there he started changing his mind. He saw how Israelis were treating him and how decent everything was. And he started coming around. He started saying, well, maybe Israel's not so bad. When he was released, he went on a peace campaign trying to normalize relations with his neighbors in Israel, in Hebron. And then the Palestinian Authority got wind of his normalization efforts. They asked him to come down to their offices. They immediately arrested him and took him down to prison in Jericho for 2 months. Muhammad Jabir is his name, and he was tortured like this kind of torturing. He came back, and he, of course, refused to meet with us again, even though he nods at me, he winks at me. Why? Because he knows how brutal the other side is. Now, that was the bombshell torture video, which we know all about that. Here is even a more shocking video, and this is a little bit longer. There's an Israeli reporter for Channel 12, Arabic speaker Ohad Hemo, and he went down to Jabalia. We're going to watch together this longer video of his report, and it is shocking. And for those of you who can't, watch further than this video, it can't go for the long haul. I just want to tell you what you're going to see. You're going to see Arabs saying Hamas are evil. Hamas have stolen our food. Hamas have tortured us. You Jews should destroy Hamas. Bring us our life back. You guys are moral. And then towards the end, there's the discussion of what should be done next. And what the Arab request is you Jews, you Israelis should control Gaza. That's what we want. We want to be residents of Gaza. And that's a very important point, which could be good policy if Israel would make that clarity of policy, which is to say, hey, we're here to fight Hamas, and we're here to take over Gaza. We're here to normalize life here. And we're here to give people opportunities and decencies as residents of the state of Israel. But in any case, that was me jumping the gun just for folks who can't stick around. Let's now watch Ohad Hemo, this Channel 12 reporter, going into Jabalia in Gaza. We're with you, Israel.
הפעם האחרונה שלי שנכנסתי ברגל לעזה דרך מחסום ארז הייתה לפני יותר מ-15 שנה, והיום, שנה אחרי ה-7 באוקטובר, אתה כבר נכנס לתוך רצועת עזה ברגל, בטוח לחלוטין. אנחנו הולכים לג'באליה.
Okay, so it's important to understand Israel pulled out of Gaza in 2005 and basically it became Hamas-controlled land for a long time. And now Ohad Hemo is going into Jabalia in the Gaza Strip for the first time, kind of like walking in, and it's safe because Israel has military presence there.
אהלן אחי, מה קורה? שמור על עצמך.
Okay, this is an armored personnel carrier. Or maybe it's a tank, actually. Maybe it was the back of a tank.
לפני שנה וחודש, עזה הכריזה מלחמה על ישראל. מאז המקום הזה כבר לא דומה לעצמו. הוא הרוס, סגור ומבודד. העולם כולו עוסק בעזה, אבל איש באמת לא יודע מה מתרחש בפנים. והעזתים אילמים. מעט מאוד קולות יוצאים מכאן, ומה שכבר יוצא מהונדס לרוב בכלי התקשורת הערביים, על ידי מערכות תקשורת מוטות ועיתונאים, חלקם אנשי חמאס.
All right, so this is a very important point. The media that we get out of Gaza is Hamas spokesmen. Hamas spokesmen and Hamas sympathizers like Bassem Youssef on Piers Morgan, right? He's a Hamas sympathizer. He wants to see the end of Israel. So we don't get the real picture of what Arabs in Gaza really want.
אף כלי תקשורת, מערבי או ישראלי, לא באמת הצליח להגיע אל העזתים, אל מסה קריטית שלהם, ולשמוע אותם בלי פילטרים, עד היום. וזה קורה במקום שהיה מזוהה יותר מכל עם חמאס. מחנה הפליטים הגדול ברצועה, ג'באליה.
אוכלוסייה שיצאה גם מג'באליה וגם מבית לאיה. היה מאמץ לפנות אותם. חלק מתפנים בגלל זה שהם שומעים את הזחלים כבר בכניסה לכפר או לשכונה ויוצאים. חלק פשוט מקשיבים לכל המאמץ של הקריזות, פליירים וכו'. חלק פה זה משפחות, חלק פה זה מחבלים.
יש פה מחבלים בתוך הקבוצה הזו?
בוודאות יש פה מחבלים בתוך הקבוצה הזאת, כן. כנראה שמסוף היום, אחרי שנתחיל לסנן אותם ולבדוק אחד אחד, יצאו פה כמה עשרות של פעילים.
Okay, so the army's claiming that the terrorists are interwoven into the civilian population and they're going to process them. They will root out the actual terrorists. We'll see that at the end of the video.
ברקע כבר רואים את האלפים, מתגודדים. אחרי שנה הם החליטו שדי, מסוכן ומפחיד מדי, הגיע הזמן לעזוב את ג'באליה ובית לאהיה. מרביתם יישארו באזור, ימתינו לשעת כושר לחזור הביתה, אם זה יישאר על תילו. בודדים ירדו לדרום הרצועה. ואז הנקז נפתח, יציאת ג'באליה החלה.
Okay, so we're watching as people are really leaving Jabalia right now because they see how dangerous the situation has become for them and they want out. But interspersed amongst these people are actual terrorists.
السلام عليكم حجة.
الله يقطع عليك.
شو الوضع جوا؟ تفضلي.
الوضع كله سيء يا بني، حسبي الله على اللي شطونا.
This is the part that we have to pay attention. Pay attention to who she's cursing, this woman.
قتلونا في دورنا.
ومين قتلوكوا؟
حماس.
حماس قتلوكوا؟
حماس اللي قتلتنا. حماس اللي صوابتني وقتلتنا. حماس.
حماس مسؤولة عن كل اللي بنشوف هنا؟
كل اللي هي.
كل الدمار؟
كله هي الدمار هي.
طب ليش ما بنسمع صوتكم؟
والله ما احنا قادرين يا خالي، والله ما احنا قادرين نتنفس.
He asked them straight out, like, but we don't hear that you Arabs are so angry at Hamas. She's like, we can't breathe. We're not, our voice doesn't get out. Let's keep going.
شو؟
حسبي الله عليها حماس. ينتقم منها حماس، دمرونا، دمروا أطفالنا، دمروا بيوتنا، إحنا كنا عايشين. إحنا نهداه أنتوا حكمونا.
Please read this. We want you, Israel, to rule here. We don't want Hamas. We're done with that. Look what they've done to our lives. They have destroyed our lives. They have attacked you. We'll see that in a minute. But they have destroyed us in our lives. And that's exactly what they want. They want us to be refugees. They want us civilians to be victims while they hide in tunnels or in Qatar, Doha. And this is their destruction on us. And you've brought this destruction because they've attacked you. But they're the ones at fault.
حماس. كل الشعب بكره حماس. إحنا مضطهدين من حماس كنا.
طب ليش ما بنسمع صوتكم برا؟ ليش؟ بنموت لو إحنا طلعنا لو.
If we say anything, we'll be killed, right? Remember the torture video that we started this video with? Right? That's what happens to these folks under the thumb of this terrorist organization that terrorizes Arabs first. So many of these people are victims and they can't talk. They can't say, hey, you know what? We hate this Hamas. We don't want this jihadism.
حكينا أي كلمة بقتلونا. أنتوا مش عارفين الشعب غلبان. إحنا الغلابة. الشعب غلبان راح
إذا رفعتي صوتك ضد حماس شو بده يكون؟
بيقتلونا إرهابية. حماس إرهابية. قولوا يلا معاي حماس إرهابية. حماس إرهابية. الله ينتقم منك يا سنوار. الله يشحمك يا رب. أبرك.
شو شعرتي لما سمعتي إنه إسرائيل اغتالت سنوار؟
زغرتت وانبسطت.
ال17 أنتوا كنتوا فرحانين.
So she's cursing Sinwar. She's cursing Hamas. And she's asking everybody there to yell it out loud. You've never heard. First thing, have you heard this on the media? Have you got, like, is this something that you hear that the average Arab is out there cursing Hamas? Have you heard that kind of thing? No, you haven't, right? It's like you don't get to even hear voices like that. It's like it doesn't even happen. Okay, let's say she's the minority, but have you even heard this minority voice? And she's like getting all these people to yell, like, damn Hamas. They've brought this destruction upon us. Okay, she may be acting for the camera, maybe, but she's doing it. She's doing it publicly. Do you even hear that voice? Does Bassem Youssef let people know how the average Palestinian curses Hamas? No. And this is shocking stuff. It's not shocking to me because I know I've spoken to so many Arabs who hate the PA and who hate Hamas and are angry at us, Israel, for empowering the PA against them and for empowering Hamas and giving them land. And they're angry at us. They're like, why have you done this to us? You should be ruling here.
فرحانين.
لا مش فرحانين. لا والله ما احنا فرحانين.
والله ما احنا فرحانين صغارنا واطفالنا والله ما احنا فرحانين والله بكينا وعيطنا يوم 7 اكتوبر والله ما احنا فرحانين احنا فرحنا اللي تفتح الطريق ونشتغل وناكل ونشرب والله ما احنا مبسوطين اللي بيقولك احنا مبسوطين كذاب.
He asked her whether you celebrated October the 7th, and she's like, celebrated October the 7th. We were happy when you opened the crossings to bring food in. We didn't celebrate October 7th. Is that true? I don't know. But that's the voices coming out of Gaza right now.
كذاب والله مش هنشطين.
بس في حكي عن مقاومة وحماس.
لا ولا حماس ولا مقاومة فيش عندنا.
مين المسؤول اللي بنشوف الآن؟
ابن القحبة الصنوار اللي يحق عليه طلع ايش عمل فينا. لعن ابوه.
بتحبش تنبارة؟
سلام بدي اروح انا. خلص سلام.
جد؟
كله يلحق عليه.
شو القصة؟ انتوا كنتوا فرحانين 17 شو صار؟
ايش شو صار؟ زي ما انت شايف زي ما انت عملتوا فينا. بغيتونا.
Okay, so there was a different kind of voice there, right? He said, like, you basically, maybe I was happy on October the 7th, but you guys destroyed us. You guys defeated us. And look what happened. That's also, reasonable. Gaza started a war with Israel. Israel struck back hard. But inside there's like a blame for Hamas for starting this whole business. Let's keep going.
אנחנו ניגשים אליהם, מבלי שיש לנו מושג מה אנחנו הולכים לשמוע. פשוט נותנים להם לדבר. והם מדברים בקול אחיד.
Right, so Ohad Hemo is just like, here's a mic, what do you have to say? And they're just like spilling the beans and they're speaking. He says this is a very important phrase. He says, they're speaking in a united voice. That united voice is something you do not hear in Western media. You do not hear this united voice, how much they hate Hamas, right? And yet he's just giving them the mic. They know the spiel. They know exactly what to say. Again, let's not be naive. Okay, these are defeated people, and now they want to be rescued. I understand that. Still though, this is a voice that you don't hear often, and it's important to hear it. They're saying Hamas is the enemy of peace and a decent, normal life. If anything, that is a success of the war. If anything, that shows that Israel has been successful in defeating Hamas, so that these people now spit at them.
כבר לא חוששים, לא מבקשים לטשטש פנים או זהות. ייתכן שזה מעיד על החלשות חמאס, ייתכן שזו דווקא עדות לייאוש שלהם, לתחושה שאין להם מה להפסיד. כנראה שמדובר בשילוב של השניים. ולמרות הכל, אנחנו בחרנו לטשטש את פניהם של אלו ששברו את מחסום הפחד.
كيف للآن سنة وشهر من بداية الحرب كيف ما شفنا أي قوة داخلية محلية اللي بتطلع على حساب حماس؟
ما بنقدر.
ليش؟
ما بنقدر. حماس مستخدم القوة في كل مكان.
لسه؟
لا ما زالت. يعني أنا مثلا بدي أروح أهتف ضد حماس يلعن بحكم حماس بهتف بس بعد شوية
إيش بيصلحينه بيتخوك؟
ما بجرى ما بعرف إيش اللي بجرى لي فبالتالي عشان أنا أحافظ على حياتي بضلني ساكت.
كيف أنت مش خايف من حماس؟ كيف مش خايف تحكي اللي بتحكي؟
أنا حاليا مش خايف من حماس لأنه حماس تقريبا مش زي قبل. يعني حماس أول الحرب مش زي حماس اليوم إحنا من الحرب سنة وشهر.
ضعفاء؟
إيه
ضعفاء؟
تقريبا.
نتنياهو لو بده.
Wait, before we get to the Netanyahu segment, that man dressed in traditional Arab and Muslim clothing is willing to speak out against Hamas. He says they've been weakened. And yet at the same time, he also said in the beginning that he's afraid to talk. I'm telling you again and again, in Hebron, where I work, Arabs are afraid to talk. Behind closed doors, they keep on saying, just give us Israeli residency. Take away these jihadist organizations from us. Let us be residents of the state of Israel. Let us have a decent life with upward mobility and job opportunities, education opportunities, clean water, good hospitals, decent life. Okay, we understand that you don't want us to be full-fledged citizens of a Jewish state. That's understandable here in the Middle East because this is your national country. We understand that you're concerned that we may take it over. And so instead, give us residency. I hear that time and time again. Now, this segment right here is very important, so let's pay attention.
الزين من الأول ما كان من الأول خلص هو اللي مون حماس وهو اللي أعطى حماس هو اللي كان يجيب لهم المصاري من قطر هو كان يجيب لهم المصاري من قطر.
Just look at the face of this man. And he is, He's not working at the university probably, but at the same time he speaks with such clarity of common sense. He's like Netanyahu sent money from Qatar to Hamas. He helped empower them, and this is what we've been under all this time, and that's true. Nobody could take that away. Israel pulled out of Gaza and allowed Hamas to take over. Then they thought that Hamas was going to be a partner for peace, a partner for normalization, kept sending them money so that they don't run out of money. There's these billionaires, these multimillionaires and billionaires at the top there, but they kept funneling money. Israel kept funneling money from Qatar into Gaza and allowed Hamas to build up this huge weapons cache and terror tunnels and to subdue all these people. And so if people ask me sometimes, they're like, well, do you believe that Israel has done bad by the quote unquote Palestinians? I say, yeah, we've done very bad by empowering Hamas, by empowering the Palestinian Authority. This is what these people do. We allow a suppression and torture regime to exist right next door and to suppress these Arabs. But here they are finally talking.
هو اللي قواهم حتى أكثر من هيك.
אנחנו נמצאים בלב מחנה פליטים ג'באליה, מחנה הפליטים הגדול ביותר ברצועת עזה, ולצד שוג'אעיה גם המעוז הגדול ביותר של חמאס. חלק גדול מהמחנה נכבש אליכם הרואות, כוחות של טנקים, צבא, כמעט בכל מקום כאן, אבל בעיקר כשאתה מדבר עם אנשים שגרו כאן בבתים האלה עד לפני כמה ימים, הם יאמרו לך שהסיבה לכך שהם לא עוזבים את המקום לצד האיומים של חמאס, זו ההבנה שבעצם המוות כבר שורה בכל מקום ברצועת עזה. אני שמעתי מאנשים מג'באליה שאמרו לי, אנחנו מעדיפים פשוט למות בבית. ليش تولدوا الآن هاني في المخيم؟
وأنا جوزي معاق فخفت أرمي من الكتر الناس ما بتقول على المعبر برموا المعاقين فأنا خفت أرمي جوزي.
كيف الحياة هاني المخيم بالأشهر الأخيرة؟
فيش أكل ولا شرب وخوف ورعب وجوع وما فيش أكل عنا.
حماس شو عملوا؟
الله ينقبهم زي ما.
The word Nakba means catastrophe or disaster. And here's them claiming again that Hamas has brought this catastrophe. And you'll hear over and over again, they took away our food. You Israelis gave us food. We're with you. And he asks her, I know what she means. We all know what she means. She goes, we're with you. We're with you, the Jews, the Israelis. We hate this Hamas. But he asks her anyway, just for the sake of the camera. She says to him, you're the barakah, you're the blessing. You're the blessing to this place. Look what has become of our lives here. You're the blessing. All the goodness comes from you, Israel. You're supposed to rule here. You're supposed to control this place. And thereby our lives will be decent and normal. My husband used to work for you, and there was blessing in this land. But look what has happened now to us. A person cannot generate this kind of emotion if it doesn't come from some inner true place.
وشو بالنسبة للمقاومة وحماس اللي بيحميكوا؟
عليها كذابين بدناش إياها دمرتنا بدناش إياها انتوا الصح بدناش حماس تسقط حماس والله لا أشوف حماس لا أقتله والله فرحت لما قتلتوا الصنوار اللي دمر وقتل أطفالنا والله العظيم زغرتت
رسالتك للشعب الإسرائيلي اللي بيشوفك الآن
يا رب يرجع لكم اولادكم ويعم السلام ونكون صحبه احنا وانتم فيش بعد السلام.
هذا شيء واقعي
والله شيء واقعي.
هذا اللي شفنا في 7/10
الله يجعله ما يصير. الحمد لله ان شاء الله بتمحوهم ضلكوا وراهم لغايه ما تقتلوهم. سيبنا
Keep going all the way until you destroy them. Destroy Hamas. Let us live in peace. And the system, everybody's always asking what the solution is. The solution is simple. Residency. residency for non-jihad Arabs. We now know how to sift through them. We know how to to figure out who was a jihadist, who's part of October 7th. We've got that technology and that ability, Israel does. Okay, so she says, destroy them, finish them off. Let us live in peace together with you, i.e. non-jihad Arabs. And again, you can't be naive. Amongst these people, there are jihadists. There are those who hate Israel. No doubt about it. But the solution is in these words. In the words of the simple people of Jabalia, there's a solution.
דבר כזה לא קרה לי במשך 20 שנותיי ככתב בשטחים. לא צריך היה לעשות כלום, פשוט להניח מיקרופון. הם ניגשו אליי, פורקים את התסכול, את השנאה, את הכאב, את כל מה שנצבר אצלם בשנה האחרונה. ואי אפשר היה להתבלבל במי הם רואים את האויב הגדול.
Just listen to this young man, this child. I don't know how old he is because they distorted his face so you can't see it, but I guess he's 12 or 13. Listen to the vehemence in his talking. I don't want you to miss even a second of what he's saying, so I'm going to rewind just a tad. Let's let him.
الله ونعم الوكيل على اللي ظلمنا. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. ظلمك على مين اللي ظلمك؟ اللي ظلمونا حماس اللي ظلمتنا اللي قتلتنا.
هذول شرموطة حماس، هذه النكبة. الله يكتبهم، الله بيحكم معهم. يا رب يقتلوهم اليهود، اليهود أحسن منهم. اليهود بعطونا أكل، بعطونا الدنيا، وبيعملوا الدنيا، وبيعطونا الطريق بأمنه، وإيش يفضح أرضهم اليهود حماس. منا استسلمنا خلاص.
Did you see the unbelievable? I have to tell you, for me, it's not easy to watch this because it's just so much rage and emotion and so much unvarnished truth that is being laid out here, and so much of this kind of truth is hidden in the world. And here's this young man, he's yelling at the top of his lungs. He's like, they destroy them. They've brought a Nakba on us. When do you hear that? In the mainstream media? When do you hear this kind of? When do you see this kind of footage? And yet, Ohad Hemo is like, I didn't have to ask tough questions. I just put the mic in front of them. They're just letting all this stuff out of their insides. That's what he's saying. He's like they were just these people are being moved out of their homes in Jabalia. This is what they have to say. Look who's destroyed our life.
غزة استسلمت؟
بنتي غزة استسلمت. يا ريت تجيب لي مية. انهلكنا.
مين المسؤول عن وضعكم؟ مين اللي جاب وضعكم؟
حماس. في مية ماله؟ مية. حبيبك الله يسعدك مية.
בכל הזמן הזה עומדים חיילים בסמוך, מאבטחים את הנחש האנושי האדיר הזה, מחלקים מים, מסייעים למי שצריך.
I'm not trying to wash away any of the accusations against Israel by showing this, but it's a fact. Look, they're giving them water. They're treating them with decency. And they say it over and over again. You guys are the only ones who treated us with decency. The Hamas have been torturing us. We need water. Here's some water. Hamas has taken all the water. They've started this war. They've given us none of that prosperity that we yearn for.
بدهم يساعدوكي اوكي
تخافيش يا خالتي تخافيش الله يقطع حماس. واليوم اللي شفناهم فيه ذبحوا حماس وقتلوهم. وين ما رحتوا شفتوهم اذبحوهم ينعل ابوهم. ما بدناش اياهم يحلوا عنا. قولوا لهم حلوا عنا ما بدناش اياهم يحلوا عنا حماس.
حماس هدول جزء منكم، هدول فلسطينيين.
حماس
انتوا
حماس قتله، حماس شرب الدم.
بس هدول اولادكم، انتوا امهات حماس.
Interesting. She also distinguishes them. She says they're Shiites. Now, Hamas aren't exactly Shiites. They're part of the Muslim Brotherhood. They're Sunni, but they're supported by the Iranian Shiites, and they're seen as bloodsuckers and other things within Islam. To say they're more bloodletters. In any case, that was an interesting thing that she threw out there. Just an interesting sociological point. She says, no, they're Shiites. There's something else. They're not us exactly.
بيحكوا عن انتصار، هاي انتصار.
ما فيش انتصار. حسبنا الله على حماس واللي بنصر حماس. بدناش حماس.
اللي بشوف الجنود بوزعوا المي على الأطفال على النساء بشربوهم، دليل إنه في عندهم إنسانية.
Interestingly, the men voices are more calm, and I think I understand why. These women are in charge of all these children and the elderly and their broken husbands. So this guy, he's got a calmer type voice. I guess he doesn't have to be as concerned with providing, and he's not in the same situation. You see these women, they're like handling all this luggage, bringing all these kids. Okay, so here's a calmer voice, and he says, look, the Israelis provide humanitarian basic services.
وهذا
إذا كان بالعكس، إذا هدول كانوا يهود وهاني كانوا حماس مثلا.
حماس والله ما بتشربنا نقطة مية، والله لا تخليهم عطشانين يروحوا على آخر السوافة عطشانين يموتوا بالعطش.
هذا الست هدول من انت ارحم ولا حماس اللي عملها له مسلم ارحم؟
مين ارحم؟
انت ارحم، انت عمال بتصحي فيها. حماس السببت لعمل فينا هيك. بدناش حماس، قولوا لهم يرحلوا عنا. شوف انا ابني استشهد، ايش ذنبه؟ ما ابني مش حماس، ابني مش حماس، ايش ذنبه؟
And added to what I was saying before, that these women are in charge of so many people, she says, look, my son was killed by Hamas. And we'll hear more of that in just a minute, of people being tortured and shot by Hamas for trying to get some food. But they took her son, she claims. So now you can understand where this rage is coming from.
14 كنتوا فرحانين مش هيك؟
لا ما كنا فرحانين، ما كنا فرحانين. هدول الجواسيس الخونة هم اللي عملوا في القطاع هيك. شوف حماس بمزوق مزع، أخذ ابني حماس، أخذ ابني حماس وين وداه؟ ليش أخذ ابني مني حماس؟ إيش عمل له؟ إيش عمل للقطاع؟ أولادنا راحت، أرضنا، أملاكنا، أموالنا، كله راح. ايش بدنا ضل؟ ما ضلش اشي. مش خايفة، خلاص راح اللي إلي راح. ما ضل اللي يجي راهن عليه. انا مش زيهم، انا بستسلم. انا بحقن دماء غيري. هم ايش براهنوا؟ ايش ضايل لهم يراهنوا؟ ما ضل اشي راهن عليه. لو انهم عندهم شرف بحزن على ولاياهم، احنا ولايا هيك. ليش؟
It's a powerful accusation. She says, look at Hamas. Look what they've let us women look like. Look what they've let us, what life circumstances they've put us in. And so that's an accusation of dishonor against Hamas, that they have not protected their women.
לאמבולנסים לצאת, אני רואה פה הרבה מאוד פצועים, ואמרת לי, עד לפני שבוע כל פצוע שהיה בתוך המחנה יכול היה לצאת.
נכון. עשינו פה מעבר פתוח לאמבולנסים לצאת. נתנו את האפשרות לפנות את הפצועים מהבתי חולים שהתרוקנו פה. יש אנשים שבחרו שלא. עכשיו אני לא יודע אם הם בחרו שלא, שחמאס לא נתן להם להוציא את הפצועים האלה. אבל עשינו פה כל מה שאנחנו יכולים כדי באמת להתעמת עם מחבלים ולא עם אוכלוסייה.
Let me make the point there, which is that one of the ideas of the IDF is to somehow sift out the civilian population so that the terrorists would stay and be fought with. And that's what the brigadier was saying. He was saying, like, look, we're trying to sift them out. We're trying to keep the terrorists in so that we could actually fight with them.
هذه تنظيم إرهاب داعش أصعب من داعش. كس أختهم، كس أخت عظم سنوار، أخو شرموطة. طلعوا هذا حماس، طختنا حماس.
بس تاخدكم؟
حماس أخوات شرموطة هذولا.
أخوك في الرجل؟
عشان كابونات بيسرقونا للشرموطة. كابونات في شكل عندنا كل بيسرقوه كلهم بتخبوا أخوات الشرموطة.
اشرح لي بالضبط شو صار. أجوا حماس مسلحين حماس.
هاي قبل 5 شهور باقي لي مساعدات بيسرقوها. طخوني عشان بدي آكل طعم أولادي.
So this is back to the previous video that I showed, which is the torture that Hamas does to Arab civilians. Basically, this guy's claiming, at least, you know, I had an aid package. I wanted to eat it and feed my family. They stole it. He got into a fight with them. They shot his leg. Now he doesn't have a leg.
فجري وهذا كمان طخوه فجره. هذا طخوه في هذا كمان فيديو كمان.
Maybe he does have a leg, but it's not working well.
طخوه فجره كمان. هذا بقى يقول لك
كلهم حماس.
كله اخوات شرموطه مش حماس. هذول داعش اخوات شرموطه هذول.
Interesting. A different sociological point is that he's comparing them to ISIS, right? Which is a fanatical jihadist group, which I don't think has a lot of respect in these parts because of their fanaticism and self-destructiveness and destructiveness of other Arabs. They don't care about that. They care more about, you know, their religion than their people. And so he's comparing them to ISIS.
בדבר אחד קשה שלא להבחין מיד, בכמות האדירה של הנכים. אלה על כיסאות גלגלים ואלו, קטועי הרגליים, מדדים על קביים, רבים תוצרים של המלחמה, אבל דווקא המלחמה הפנימית, בתוך עזה.
Right, so again, the point is that these guys walking on crutches, they're actually victims of the internal strife with Hamas.
شو صار؟
والله ولا حاجة الحمد لله.
عشان الحرب ولا حماس؟
من حماس هم.
حماس تخوك؟
من حماس كله من حماس.
كل هدول المشلولين اللي بشوف كلهم من حماس؟
حماس هي هذه يا زلمة.
هاي في قطر أخو الشرموطة بتكلم بياكله وإحنا خد.
So Hamas is responsible for all of those people in crutches, and he says, "Look at the leadership of Hamas in Qatar. They're, you know, at the Four Seasons over there in Doha, and here they're cutting off my leg for they're shooting me in the leg for trying to feed my family."
أنا طلع. هذا جيش بني آدم. الجيش مرة عالجني. جيش بيقولوا جيش مجرم. هم عالجوني. جابوا له مية، جابوا له أكل. خذ. هذا جر. بطخان اخو الشرموطه. جيش ساعدني. الله يحميهم، الله يقويهم يا رب. يجونا ميه. الله يحميكم، الله ينصركم.
عشان بقيت اسرق اكل لاولادي
طخوا كمان،
طخونا في رجلي. حماس هي اللي نكبونا. حسبنا الله عليهم. الله ينصركم. الله ينصركم عليهم. الله ينصركم عليهم. الله ينصركم على حماس. على حماس.
تعرفوا انه العالم كله ضد اسرائيل. العالم بيقول انه اسرائيل دمرت غزه
من انسانيه. مش يحملها من انسانيه. انتم بتدخلوا اكل. مش انتم انسانيه بتدخلوش اكل لهم بيسرقوا.
No, you're the humane ones. You bring in food, but they steal it. He says straight out. He's like, the whole world is against Israel, right? He's like, no, you're the decent folks around here. Is that going to be on the mainstream media? Are we going to be able to see this type of language? That Israel is the one that feeds us and Hamas shoots us in the leg because we try to eat?
قول خلاص ما يجون اكل. ببيعوه بقبضوا على اخوه.
بياخذوا الكراتين الكبار وبيضحكوا علينا بعلبتين
فول وبياخذ كرتونه.
بيضحكوا علينا بعلبتين فول. بيضحكوا علينا.
احاول افهم شيء. اسرائيل يعني بتسمح لهدول الشاحنات يفوتوا على شمال غزه.
بسرقوها.
حماس بيسرقوها.
اظن ميت من الجوع احسن لي.
امام عيونكم سرقوها.
اظن قدام عيني. قدام عيني. قدام عيني.
اذا تكلمت بطخوك. بكون على شحون زي كيف بيطلع. بيطلع على الشحن هيك بتدبسه. وين بخطك الشهان. وين بطخه شهان على اللحم. بطخ عشان يشلك.
انا عارف راح اطلع من هين. راح حماس التخنه. حماس راح التخنه. انا هلقيت شهيده.
عشان اللي حكيتي؟
عشان حكيت.
مش خايفه؟
لا مش خايفه. خلاص راح اللي راح. ما ضل اللي يجي جراين عليه.
انا بتوقع انه تنتهي الحرب عندما يعود الأسرى المختطفين إلى ديارهم.
اليهود
طبعا المختطفين عندما اختطفوا في 7 من أكتوبر إلى ديارهم إلى إسرائيل إن شاء الله.
Interesting. The talk is about returning the hostages, which is their way to hope that the war is going to end and life goes back to normal when the hostages return. But that's not the way that there'll be normalization and a decent life there. The only way there'll be a normal life there is when Israel actually rules there. Because if Israel just gets the hostages and lets these forces take back over again, Egypt, different countries, some kind of international consortium, or the Palestinian Authority, God forbid, it's just going to be the same. We're going to go back to the same terrorist control of Gaza. How many times can we hope that somebody else is going to take care of business? This is Jewish land, and it needs to be controlled by Israel, governed by Israel, and then there'll be a decent life for the people living there. Give them residency, non-jihadists. Give them residency. You'll see that life will flourish. The formula is simple, but everybody wants to dance around it.
وإن شاء الله إحنا بدنا حكم مدني
Oh.
من الإدارة الإسرائيلية.
We want, everybody read this carefully, we want an Israeli civilian rule in the Gaza Strip. Hello, ding, 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 ding. We got it. Oh my God, eureka moment. Civilian Israeli, not just military, civilian rule with jobs and opportunities, with the Jewish communities living there, with Israel governing this piece of land. We'll have a decent life. That's what we want. Here's a guy in a Muslim garb. We want Israeli civilian rule in the Gaza Strip. That's not just saying Hamas sucks, okay? That's saying like, we want Israel here. You know how many times I hear that? Do you know how many times I hear that? I heard that last week. I talked about it in one of my other broadcasts. Arab says to me, what's going to be around here? And I said to him, what's going to be is that Israel is going to rule over this whole area. Jihadists will be gone, and non-jihadists, decent Arabs who respect and can be respectful, loyal citizens of the state of, residents of the state of Israel will get residency. And he says to me, inshallah, with the help of God. I said to him, yeah, we don't talk about equality because Israel is the Jewish state, but there's minorities living amongst us. They'll be residents and they'll live an amazing and decent life. And much better than this. Look what Hamas has led to.
تحكم قطاع غزة.
והדברים האלו של מוחמד אמור להבהב כנורה אדומה עבור כולנו. כי מה שמוחמד ורבים מהפלסטינים בעזה רוצים הוא שישראל תשוב לשם.
Okay. So now Ohad Hemo, who's from Channel 12, which is Israel's left-leaning news service, says, watch out, because the words that Muhammad says here should be a red light for all of us, because what Muhammad and a lot of people down here want in Gaza is Israeli civilian rule. And we should be careful, says Ohad Hemo on the left-leaning side of the spectrum, we should be careful that if we allow this idea to percolate, it's going to be that we're going to have to now take control of the Gaza Strip and take responsibility for all those people. So for me, it's so sad to see that Ohad Hemo the math doesn't add up. The math is so simple that it's hard for some smart people to do this simple math, which is, yes, we're going to control and govern Gaza. It's going to be a civilian rule. They're going to get residency. And yes, we will provide the health care and the decencies and the opportunities, and there's going to be money made because it's a beautiful place. We're going to turn it back into the Garden of Eden that it could be. And yes, there'll be a lot of Arabs that will get residency, and we'll weed out the jihadists, and we'll make sure that no jihadism can grow there. And that's the way forward. But Ohad Hemo, it's like scary. Oh no, what they really want is us to rule here again. Well, who do you think is going to rule? Who do you think is going to take care of it? Who do you think is gonna make it better? Some other force from out there somewhere? No, dude. You can't give this thing away. It's your land and your responsibility, and you've got to take the sovereign and civilian control of the place.
תנהל את החיים, את החינוך, את התשתיות.
That's right.
תישאב לתוך הביצה שנקראת עזה.
So Ohad Hemo's like, well, be careful, watch out, because you might get pulled into the swamp that is Gaza. Bro, like, who do you think is going to take care of this thing for you? Have you looked at the map, the line of the land of Israel? What do you think it's going to have this like tooth taken out of it? The Gaza Strip is going to be somebody else's control? No, we're going to have to control it. We're going to have to take responsibility. We're going to have to grow up. And we've tried the path of giving this land away, and it has failed so spectacularly. And now the people of Gaza are like, Israel, please. And he says, Ohad Hemo says, so many people here want Israel to take sovereign control of this place.
בינתיים צה"ל ממשיך להשיג הישגים יוצאי דופן בשדה הקרב. אם זו אוגדה 162 שמתמרנת בג'באליה, חטיבת גבעתי שכובשת חלקים עם עוז חמאס, או גדוד 9 שלה, זה שאחראי בין היתר על הנקז ועל התמונות יוצאות הדופן האלה.
Okay, so this is after the sifting. Okay, amongst those civilians were real terrorists. And these are also very important images because this shows that Israel's able to sift out the bad guys, identify them, arrest them, and deal with them. That guy Muhammad that was speaking, he's not one of them, it seems like. These guys are Hamas terrorists and even took part in the October 7th massacre.
לכך זה נראה. כל האנשים האלה שאתם רואים לידינו הם אנשי חמאס, אנשי ג'יהאד איסלאמי. אחד מהאנשים האלה, אינני יודע מי הוא מ"מ בנוח'בה שהשתתף ב7 באוקטובר. ככה נראה האויב הגדול ביותר של מדינת ישראל, האויב שהשתתף ב7 באוקטובר, והתמונה הזו זו תמונת כניעה של חמאס, תמונת ניצחון של ישראל, חלק מאותם חמושים שחלקם לחמו ממש עד לימים האחרונים במחנה פליטים ג'באליה, וכעת מרימים ידיים ונכנעים.
Okay, these images are very important, even in a war. There's a war element to these very images, right? It's an offensive element, which is that these people are being humiliated. Hamas is being humiliated. That's actually a very important part of war, and certainly war in the Middle East. The terrorists need to be humiliated. Their loss has to be complete. Their failure has to be complete. Their vanquishment has to be total. And this is part of that. So these very images themselves are part of Israel's war effort against the jihadism and against the Hamas and against Iran.
זה מעיד על שבירה. כלומר, לצורך העניין, אתמול הוצאנו מפה 50 מחבלים כחלק מנקז, אנשים שפשוט הרימו ידיים והחליטו שהם לא נלחמים יותר.
שאתה יודע שהם מחבלים בוודאות.
שאנחנו יודעים שהם מחבלים בוודאות, אחרי הצלבות של מידע, אחרי חקירות. חלקם באו והסגירו את עצמם, אמרו אנחנו מחבלים ואנחנו זהו, סיימנו. ואני חושב שזה הדבר שהכי מעיד על שבירה פה אולי, הסיפור הזה של להרים ידיים.
זה היה ביקור קשה, מדכא. סביר מאוד להניח שרבים מאוד מההמון הגדול הזה צהלו ב7 באוקטובר. ועדיין לא פשוט, כאדם, כיהודי, לחזות בתמונה הזו. ולרגע לא יכולתי להפסיק לחשוב, כמו בכל החודשים האחרונים, מה האנשים האלו, הרוצחים הנתעבים האלה, חשים עכשיו. האם זה היה שווה את זה? האם לא הבנתם שכשאיבדתם את צלם האנוש והמוסר, כשטבחתם בבני עמי, הבאתם בעצם הרס, רעב ומוות על עמכם שלכם, על עזה, על אמהותיכם, על ילדיכם.
An absolutely amazing report from Ohad Hemo, and I'm very grateful to him and Channel 12 here in Israel. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to present to you these images. The images of Hamas torturing their own people, the images of women and children being like, Hamas has destroyed our life. Please, Israel, take civilian control, military and civilian control of this land of Gaza, and that's the future moving forward. And the challenges to get people to understand the simplicity and the beauty of the solution moving forward. Sometimes we're too smart for our own good, and we cannot contemplate that really the answer is right around the corner. It's very simple. Yes, we're going to have to take responsibility for residents in our land. I hope that you enjoyed this very important video that we showed today. I'm very, very moved by it. And I have to tell you, I held back tears a few times. Partially because of the humanitarian crisis, and partially because that it pains me so much that the simple common sense answers are sometimes, hard to hold on to and hard to implement, maybe because they're too simple. But in any case, the answers were in the videos that we showed today. Be part of the fight for Israel. It's very easy to check out fightforisrael.org. We have a lot of projects, including broadcasting, including beautification of the land of Israel, and spreading Torah to the world. So thank you very much. And if you believe in the slogan, it's a very simple slogan: fight for Israel. Are you part of the fight for Israel? Please be part of the fight for Israel. If you want to support my broadcasting and my team, we try to do a lot of work for you here to get the truth out. Check out buymeacoffee.com/Yishai. It makes a tremendous difference. Your support is felt. It's both physical, temporal, and also spiritual. It gives us a lot of strength, including your emails as well. You can write me an email, yishai@yishaifleischer.com. Appreciate it. I don't always get back, but I'm doing my best. And your emails are appreciated, and they give me a lot of strength and sometimes also useful information. So thank you. And finally, HebronFund.org, the Jewish community of Hebron, is the community that keeps the Tomb of the Patriarchs and Matriarchs open to the public. If not, the jihad would shut it down. Learn more about Hebron, learn about the Tomb of the Patriarchs and Matriarchs, come on one of our tours and help support this brave community that keeps this place open for the rest of us. God bless you folks, wherever you are. And thank you for sticking with me through this important and tough and revealing video about the complex nature that is not just superficial of the reality of the Middle East. May God help us come to a better world through the challenges that we faced in the October 7th war. May all the fallen lead us to victory. God bless you folks, wherever you are. Lots of love and shalom.